William makes us look really smart, for real. The amount of scrutiny, due diligence, and information we get when a client wants to buy a stock, a lot of times I'll quote unquote take the order and say, okay, well, let us do our job and really dive into this a little bit more for you. I'll send that along to William. I'll give him kind of some notes on my thoughts. Hey, this is how I think this company's positioned, because I do a lot of this myself.
Absolutely,
too.
Again, you follow it.
This is how I think this company's positioned, but I'd be curious, on what we call a full write-up. So he'll send that back to me with, pages of information in my mind, a lot of due diligence in regards to that. And then at the bottom of it is the basic recommendation. And we might choose to go with that, or we might say, hey, look, based upon what you're trying to do in this sector, is it a sector question? Hey, I want to be in electric, cars. Well, I want to own ChargePoint. Okay, well, do you want to own ChargePoint, or do you want to own this company or this company or this company, based upon what we think is going to happen in the future? So then William and his team might come back to us and say, if they want to stay in this sector, they might be better off going with this stock as opposed to the original. Or if they're looking at, dividend income and that's why they bought it, here's another recommendation. So there's a lot that goes into those questions that William and his team, and I will say they do a heck of a job for us. They make us look really good.
So Bill, why don't you explain a little bit about that process? So a request comes in from Keith or from some of the other SHP advisors, and then walk us through that. What happens?
Yeah, and we can take a very easy one and just say, like, we got a request to purchase Apple. We want to do a review of Apple first. So typically what we'll kind of do is we'll take the company, and Apple's a very easy one. We're very familiar with it, but we'll look at just some of the basic data points, where the company's positioned, what's going on. We'll look at a past few quarters, and then really we'll look at the investment, but then it's really the client. It's the investment's important, but then where does that investment fit in? So if it's customized, really it's, for me, when I hear customized review, a part of me is to say, how can I almost like, what's the easiest way to get this in to fulfill the client need, but also keep them on track for their plan? Because when you do customize, that's usually going to kind of throw you a little off track, maybe a little right or the left, but we still want to keep you to the goal. So when we kind of come in, we're going to, at the very end of a review, provide that summary and recommendation, but usually tone down the expectation of what we're trying to do. If the client's like, yep, I really want to do Apple, I want to put $100K into a stock, we're going to come back, look at all your accounts, see where Apple is overall, and then kind of spit back to you and say, hey, here's your Apple exposure, because you don't own Apple directly, you own indexed ETFs and active mutual funds, but overall, here's where you own it at this percentage. Now, if you did this, it would increase it to that, and then we usually come down, try to trim individual stock ownership down to a cap of 5%. Again, because you pick up that ownership in these funds. So when you do that, you're blindly adding more, over allocating. Apple's great, but right around, again, that 08, 09, there was a period where Apple was just continually going down. Mm-hmm. So great stocks have bad periods. So that's why you never over allocate, and you want to be in more of these index active mutual funds. Diversification. Right. So when you come through a customized review, I understand, but we are going to try to, again, also recommend a very healthy allocation. We might take that and see that's not, the best for predictable outcomes. Let's try to tone that down and find a happy compromise.